हाय, गुड आफ्टरनून. जेवले का सगळे? Okay, okay. So nice to see you everyone, but if you see this today, that we are going to start with hunting with information disclosures by URL analysis. How many people use Instagram, share reels, use Tinders? Okay. So now the point is why I'm saying this part, that if you guys are using any website, any URLs, or maybe if you are sharing a links, might possible those come up with the vulnerabilities that might expose your data. So before jumping on that, I would like to give a basic information about me and what we are going to talk. So my name is Aditya Shende. You guys know me as Kongsec. I'm a bug bounty hunter. I'm doing bug bounties from a very longer time. Threat researcher at Before AI. So basically, the things which I do is mostly into offensive security, but my job is in a defensive part. And I'm an admin of Kongsec community. A lot of people are there. Also, I like to ride the bikes and a part-time bug bounty trainer. Now, when I talk about this, I would like to ask few questions, not a big questions. You don't need to give a theory explanations, but how many people have started into bug bounty or they want to start in a bug bounty? Can you raise your hands? Okay. So if you want to start, do remember basics are very important and we going to see that. So in that case, I have found the bugs which are critical, which is P1, P2, which is, I would say like a high level, P3, which is medium level. And after that, if the company accept a vulnerability or if they don't accept something like that, that would go out of scope, either like top notch or nothing. So today we'll be exploring about how URL analysis can expose sensitive informations and how mastering of how to learn about the URLs, that is most important about it. Now if you see this here, when I was sharing a Canva URL to one of the individual in security board community, I found a URL which looks like this. If you see, this is the official definition. I don't know they are going to ask in UPSC or not, but you can just read it here. So why it's needed, I'll talk about it. In this whole URL, if you see canva.com/design and there is something unpredictable string, right? But what is the common here? You can see there is a one common word which is design. Okay, so design word can be included into anything. So you guys must have heard about in URL. In URL pada hoga. That's a dork, which is basic. Okay, everyone going to check that. Why it's needed actually? It's easy to see, like we can observe through the eyes. Each websites have sensitive URL functions. So that can expose real threats. Tokens are dangerous. So when you reset your password for Instagram, maybe for Facebook, you get the link on your email, right? From official website or whatsoever the service they are using. But have you ever thought that these links can be accessible to someone else into the public? They might reset someone else's password, access someone else's data. Might possible some of the keys or password can be easily accessible and you can access those files. But we never thought. So that's what we are going to learn. How the analysis is going to help us. So there are some anatomy I'm going to explain here. If you see this URL, I'm not sure how much is this visible to you. So every URL breaks down into the protocol, some domains, TLDs and endpoints. So such as you can see the path is login reset. जब आप Instagram का link reset करते हो, you see some password reset account, username maybe, and some sort of token when you open that link. I don't know how many people see the link, but I'm just giving you explanation. And there are some token equal to and some ABC123. This is a common URL which we are seeing nowadays. When you share the Google Drive, how does it share? drive.google.com/share/d and there is something encrypted string. Now, if you inspect that or if you observe that, those parameters or those URLs can be accessible. So people who are bunking their college classes, university classes and saying, I'm going for lectures and going for a trip and taking images and posting on the clouds or maybe Google Drive, Google Sheets, whatsoever, those files are also accessible. Now, for an example, I'm just giving you some information here. You can see this URL. As a human mind, can we guess this encrypted string in the last? If it's not visible, I'll just make a small zoom to you. This is the part, can you see? Is it guessable? because it's alphanumeric. There might be alphabets, there might be some numbers and some other symbolical parts. But what we can guess here is the endpoint, which is APIs/earn-task attempt v1 resolve. So this is the one of the biggest organization which their APIs and the URLs were exposed. And what I was able to do by just analyzing this pattern, I don't need to know this kind of tokens, but if I know that pattern, which is a default keywords, I can access someone else's invoice. And there was an option, either I can deposit or I can credit the money, which means if I want to buy something, I can cash out. If I want to sell something, I can do that. I can read the bank details. And this is like a pretty big organization which has been hacked. They have patched it, but eventually I was just showing to you. Now, why the URL path matters? अभी आप URL देख रहे हो in the last. If you go to your Gmail and if you search about Instagram reset, and then you can find these kind of URLs. Just one question to you. In this whole green URL, which keyword or which path or which endpoints are similar, which you can guess in the human mind? Yes, accounts/password/reset/confirm. Remaining things we can't guess. So paths like API, user, confirm, reset, confirm type typically serve like a critical vulnerabilities I have seen so far, and that's like what hackers do target. So these endpoint, after like most of the time they bypass some UI restrictions, some maybe sessions or cookies, and maybe if we want to try, we can also bypass into rate limiting and whatsoever. So university में जब हम थे college में, we used to bomb someone's phone number with the OTPs, right? Lot of things. I know everyone does that. मैंने भी किया है. So these kind of predictable or default path, ये जो path हम देख रहे हैं, account, password, reset, confirm, these can be predictable, and using that we can see this. There are some critical things which is publicly available, so that's why I'm not showing up here, but if you see the examples, you might get relate with it. So if you see this basic example, using Google Docs. Everyone know Google Docs? Okay, which means we search some sort of query, we search some sort of information within some keywords, and using that we get the information. So at the moment, if you see, there is a in URL :reset or in URL invite in a search engine. मतलब हम Google पर ये keyword search कर रहे हैं query, and that is to locate reset password, reset URLs or invite. Which means if I get those links or if I get those URLs, I can access maybe someone's account, maybe someone's passwords, or maybe whatsoever might relate it to the other targets. So if you see the second, which is combining filters like site:target.com and in URL invite. So just for an example, site की जगह पर हमने मान लो डाल दिया है we put the slack.com. Slack do have options like we can get invited, we can join their workspaces, and Slack do have some sort of conversation between employees. How many organizations use of products like Slack? There might be many. Maybe they are using Teams, right? So these are direct searches through the engines that can give us access to the public endpoints. But there is a problem here, which means if we want to access something, we cannot directly target same organization. If we want to target, then we have to map the huge attack surface. I'll be still explaining the URLs about it. Now in this case, when you search a Google Doc, when you do the bug bounties, when you do the reconnaissance, everyone do the docs like site, in URL or whatsoever. But in this case, what you need to do or what I do, so you need to learn the paths. When you create an account on a website, you guys have option like invite friend. When you go to the Google Pay, you have option like you can invite a friend and maybe get some bonus or something like that. So in that case, what you need to focus, आपको करना क्या? You don't need to use any kind of tools or something like that. I'll just explain in a basic. अगर आपके पास access है, friend को invite कर सकते हैं. You can put his or email number. You can invite that. You can reset the password. Then you can change the email. When we change the email, it sends the verification link to your email address, right? Account verification, if I say, and possible parameter guessing that can be excluded. What I will get? So in that case, just observing these few functionalities, which is critical functionalities, can lead to the account takeover, multi-factor bypass, which is bit rare, unauthorized access to the data, and then PI information disclosure vulnerabilities. Just observing these URLs. I'm not saying like you need to know Linux commands, you need to know burp suite or anything like that, but just these functionalities do remember in your mind, because that's the place where you will get the links. So what I will do in the basics, use siteexample.com और in URL reset for the Google, ये सिर्फ Google के लिए बोल रहा हूँ, to detect reset flaws. Now you will say like, Aditya, how is it possible those links will be crawled, they will be expired, reset password link to expire हो जाता है. But just wait a minute, you need to learn the pattern. I'm not saying you have to exploit it first. In URL token to uncover like expose token or something like that. Even if you find JWT tokens which are expired, when you decode that tokens, did you see some username, email address, might be some sort of home address, IP address, whatsoever. So when you filter these docs, that can give you the list of information, might be debug pages, log pages, and so on information. But why this is necessary? Why this target is necessary? Why we need to search these kind of things? Just to observe the links and the URLs. I'm not saying like you have to take this hardware, go to that specific Wi-Fi range, then run some tools and hack into the network. No, not like that. Just the basic one. So what we need to do, if you see, अगर आप आपके Instagram पर जाते हैं, I'm not sure like how many people going to do this, but if you reset your password, you can see this is the username you will get, and there are two things, which is login as a concept and reset your password. आपका username जो भी होगा वो आएगा, मेरा नहीं आएगा. So in that case, first link का meaning क्या है? सबने Instagram use किया है, password reset किया है. Then what is the use of first link? Direct login, right? Second link gives you access to reset the password. First, enter your password, and then it will say reconfirm your password. But what if I say that you might get the links of other users which is login as a concept, or maybe which is login at whatsoever the username, that's it, or reset the password. Okay, that can lead to the account takeover for sure. So when you observe the links, this will something look like this. See, now whatever thing is in red, ignore that. Whatever thing is in green, focus on it. Instagram.com, which is our target domain, which might be anything. And next is path, which is in green, accounts, password, reset, confirm. And remaining, if you see in red, that's token, which is unencrypted string, and maybe we can't eventually guess it. हम guess नहीं कर सकते. So इसमें हमारा keyword क्या हुआ? That in a green part. Accounts, password, reset, confirm. That what we have to focus. And this can be used on any bug bounty program, any target, whatever you need. Now this is a basic example which I'm giving. There is a service search engine which is URL scan. I'm giving this a very basic idea, because once I come for a next time, damn sure I'm going to give a very practical example. If you see, I put the same path, which is account, password, reset, confirm. I'm not sure if it's visible to you or not, but there is a phishing domain, Instagram2FA support.com, and then after they have used account, password, reset, confirm, and something that URL is, which means URL scan is mostly used for, like I do use for like bug bounties also, reconnaissance also, and as well as some finding some malware campaigns, phishing campaigns. But what is happening here? Someone exposed the link of confirm token, that is a reset token of someone user account, which means अगर मैं पूरा domain निकाल के instagram.com वहाँ पर डाल दूँ, I will be having access that I can reset the user account, which means I don't need to know the username, I don't need to know any kind of email address, and that will be resetted. But the token is old, so it will not work. This is just an example for path. Now see here. What I told, I'm not sure, is this visible to you guys? Yes. Okay. If it's blurry, I'll just explain what I've searched. So what if we modify the keywords which we are searching? So everyone use Google products like Drive, Photos, Docs, Google Sheets. You can share it to someone like take this my album photos, or maybe you can edit this whatsoever. So I've given one example where the keyword or search query is page.url colon in double quotes I have put photos.google.com, and if you see this, these are some links of Google Photos and albums which is indexed 1 day ago. When you search right now, might possible you will see the links which is 23 hours ago, maybe 4 hours ago, which is recent link of users. What will happen if I open this? I have opened 3-4 and eventually there were photos of other individuals and their group families and whatsoever. Does this make a privacy concern? Now if I put the Google Photos, is it not possible I can put any other domain? Drive, right? So इसमें path क्या हुआ मेरा? What is my path here? Which is simple. photos.google.com/share. That's it. And you know how many results they are giving me right now? These are almost like maybe 15 to 20 lakh URLs only for Google Photos. I'm not even considering other platforms. Okay. This will happen. Moving to the next, as a bug bounty perspective, how many people do the bug bounties? कितने लोग करते हैं? बस अरे I'm not going to ask a very heavy question. I'm just asking कितने लोग हैं? Everyone knows IDOR, broken access control, which is pretty basic, right? What do we see? जब YouTube के videos देखते हैं, like you have to change a number from 1 to 2 and then IDOR will happen. Actually this doesn't work like that. So why it's necessary to understand API? Many people or top hackers says like you need to read API documentation, you need to think out of the box, but box के बाहर कैसे जाना कोई बताता भी नहीं है. So this is a small tip for you. When you want to learn API, when you want to learn some of the documentation, how the website is working, how the URLs are working, you need to go something like this. So here is one example. I have modified one keyword here, which is /API/user. What it's giving? It's giving me endpoints, it's giving me websites where the API user keyword has been mentioned. Okay. And the dork is page.url, which means using that specific dork or query, I can have a keywords which includes API user. What are the sensitive keywords you can think? Maybe config.json, env files, SQL files, database, zip files. And do remember, I'm just telling you one query of URL scan. There are a lot of queries URL scan gives, which is file name, extension, which you can access. And after this session, if you go home, once you check the URL scan documentation, you will be finding a lot of data. And if you see that here, /API/user, what does it show? Some of the endpoints and the age says 5 hours ago. अगर आप नीचे भी देखते हो, API user get config, right? Whenever you go more in the deep, you will find more of the data about here. You can change the keywords as per your need. Okay. So this is one vulnerability which is publicly known, which is accessing into the Jira desk, which is pretty old. Like in that vulnerability, when you access that specific service desk, you will be having backend tickets, who is working on which kind of projects. So I was thinking to do some research about it, and what I found, service desk customer user sign up, which means if we access these endpoints, we can access into someone's internal disk. How many people know Jira, Atlassian? Everyone knows? सब लोग use करते हैं? So in that places, people have this information, but eventually if you see this, this is modified, and if you see the age is 11 months, 2 years, and that's it, that's like a pretty old. So even if you are going to try, that will not work. So the fresh ones are different. Now see here, time for you. So I'm going to ask you the questions here. Now what do you see is basic URLs. Okay. Now in this case, I wanted to ask you, I'm not sure if it's visible to you or not, but I'll just make you sure. So in a first URL, which keyword you will choose for a query? First URL में कौन सा choose करोगे? API/projects. Okay. The next. Now see, this is a bit trick. Either you can go for two multiple keywords, or else either yeah. So in that case, do remember, it is not only about the path, it is also about the parameters or the keywords which you are searching. So if you see the keyword which is x-API-key, and that key have a value, which means if you access that API key, then you will be getting some access to some of the files. And in that case, we'll jump to the another one, the same, they have an endpoint which is /API/projects. Now if you see the example here, there are three examples where we can see you can download the project PDF files. 3 downloadable files are there which is publicly accessible, and they have something on datasite.com or whatsoever. So not only API key or not only the parameters or the paths can give you access to some sort of data, but if you analyze it properly, it can give you access to the documents also. ID change, right? That's a manipulation. But what will happen if that ID is UUID, which you can't predict? Obviously, you have to work over path, which you need to be understand. Okay? Now let's see here. Now in day-to-day life, if you add someone into the WhatsApp group or maybe Instagram group or any kind, something like that, सब लोग WhatsApp use करते हैं, I know. When you share a link of WhatsApp to someone of a group, can that be detected? Can that be found? How many username and how many phone numbers you can expose? How many users' information can be accessed? But in that case, that's access to the public. That's a part of reconnaissance. But what will happen if you need to think on the basis of bug bounties? What will be the process when you start hunting on the main parts? That's what will happen. Okay. Practical, hello. Practical. I'll record the screen. Okay, just give me a minute. We'll be seeing some practical. Before that, let me record the screen and yeah. Okay, so if you see this part, this is a URL scan, pretty basic. If anyone would like to share anything in a URL scan which you guys have done the research, please do let me know. Now in this case, you will see something like this. URL scan will look like this. Now the question is what you want to test or what you want to see. That's the main question. So in the search part, we'll be putting some of the keywords. So here I'll putting page URL, and if you see, there is a one keyword which I have written, which is government uploads, system uploads attachment data underscore then /files. So what has happened when I search something like this, I'm not sure if it's totally visible to you or not, but this is a data which has been indexed, which is fresh towards the UK government. Okay. Now if I modify that, this is just one doc. कौन से कीवर्ड हम मैक्सिमम सर्च कर सकते हैं? /admin, maybe /dashboard. सेटिंग में देगा सर्च कर प्रेफरेंस वगैरह आ जाए सर्च कर थीम्स डार्क ओके वेब से देते हैं
वो वेबसाइट
अगर
है
आपको
उसमें है।
नहीं आपको अकाउंट है तो हो सकता है।
नहीं अकाउंट ही मेरा।
ये प्रोफाइल चाहिए या
अच्छा इस पे
हाँ सेटिंग्स ही
चाहिए।
सेटिंग्स
नहीं है ना
ऑप्शन नहीं है।
विजिबल उसके
मैं
नहीं है ना,
यही है।
ठीक है मैं सेंड कर दूँ।
ओके कोणत्या नाही मी मॉडिफाय केले आता वेबचंच आहे तेवढा ओके okay so in this case if I'm putting admin slash maybe dashboard slash so this is a default path which I wanted to search on this endpoint. So what will happen if you see the websites, those websites have admin dashboard keyword written in that URL. Now I'm not talking about this, not about the page URL, but if you change it to something else, मान लो कि हम दूसरा query search करते हैं. So for an example, if I'll put page.title and here now I'm putting admin dashboard. Now if you see that here, that whatever I'm searching right now, that's almost like 30 minutes ago, 39 minutes ago, 53 minutes ago, and which is pretty recent. Okay, I'll just open one of it. And if you see, the page title is React Admin Dashboard Template. This is a template which is not necessary for us at the moment. But just similar templates, if you want to find, you can do that too. Now what will happen if I talk about Facebook URLs? So how the Facebook reset URL looks like, how does it start? It just, I guess, maybe fb.me, something like that. So I'll be jumping on fb.me and search, and whatever related to the Facebook, if you see, that will be listed up here. So first is api.whatsapp.com as it's related to the WhatsApp and Meta platform under. Next is, if you see, observe it very clearly, there is a URL which is https fb.me, which shows some sort of encrypted token, and if you try to open that, if it's pretty old actually, if you try to open that, that's a pretty old, which means this will not work. So now moving to the next, I'll put facebook.com and whatever related to the Facebook, that will be listed up here. So maybe they are phishing domains, maybe a false domains which is not recently working on, but depends on you how you would like to search. Now if you want to search for Facebook recent account user password, or maybe if you want to reset their token, something like that, what you will do, you will try to see the pattern how Facebook resets the password. Now as a bug bounty hunter or security researcher, I'm not teaching you how to hack your girlfriend or boyfriend's account, but this is the place where you will learn how exactly URL works. And there is a specific part, like if you don't understand the URL, then you will miss a lot of vulnerabilities. Just through only one page.url query, I have found so many vulnerabilities that you can't even imagine, which means I'm sending messages on behalf of someone else. And if you have read my recent article where I was able to impersonate someone else by accessing the tokens were exposed into URL scan, and that domain was very secured, which means I guess they were using Akamai Ghost and top-notch security, which means zero vulnerabilities, and they are DOS protected, rate limit protected, and so many bugs, but didn't happen. So I managed to find the tokens, and using that tokens I was able to access their previous chats, able to do the chat on behalf of them. And what I said to that bot, that I'm trying to get an invoice on my new email address because I need to reimburse to my company. Can you please send the invoice on my new email address? So that bot sent me the invoice on my email, and I was able to access the bank details and whatsoever they are trying to share. So even if the domain is pretty secure, don't give up. Lot of things are pending. If you extend your reconnaissance, lot of things will be happening in your process. Now, yes, these were the basics which I wanted to share. I'm sure like you guys are going to explore a lot, because page.url is not only the one single keyword which I'm sharing, but other like page.title, page.file, and even if you search something like this, I'll show you, like, which is file name invoice.pdf. And if you see, these are the patterns which are getting listed, which is about the intuit.com. So a lot of files, lot of informations, invoices, and depends on your creativity how you are going to search or use the search engine. So depends on you. Now in that case, if you want to modify this keyword for a specific target, depends on your choice. So maybe if I put gov.in, they have RVDP, so I'm not afraid of it. I guess it's not here, so I'll just put, oops, I'll just put star, or maybe a Facebook. Now what it will show some sort of things which includes a Facebook keyword as well as some of the invoice file. And how you need to observe this, इसमें भी observation कैसे करना है. If you see, some file are saying like 7 KB, files are in KB. Those are not real files. If you see 2 MB, 1 MB, then means that files are accessible. So invoices can be accessible, depends on you what kind of data you need to know, and that's how you are going to give. Now in day-to-day life example, many people are using many kind of applications like Tinder, Bumble, right? If you are sharing किसी profile भी share कर रहे हो, anything if you are sharing, those are getting crawled. Do you remember? For example, there is a domain for the Tinder. They do have a bug bounty. So just I'm telling on that basis. So go.tinder.com and you will see the profiles which are publicly listed there. Now, how many bug bounty platforms we are hacking? So some of them do have a private bug bounty programs which cannot be accessed by us. But if you search that over the search engines, you will find the programs too. But depends on that how you would like to access them. You would like to get invited, or you would like to get directly access those programs and hunt on it. So choice is yours. So few things here, use it very responsibly. For the bug bounty or whatever the security research you guys are doing, make sure you don't hack into someone else's account or maybe access someone else's data. Make sure you use it carefully. And yes, if you have any questions, please let me know. And that's it from my side. So thank you.